it's time for a book review. I just finished reading Shatter Me, and I don't really know how I feel about it. I read it because I wanted to know about Aaron Warner, and we get a glimpse of him in this first book. Um, we understand that he is the villain, he's bad, but I feel like there is so much more to him. I've started to read Destroy Me, and I see his character development within it. So I understand that there is going to be more to his character. But in Shatter Me, his character was just very clearly supposed to be evil and the bad guy. Now, as far as Juliet and Adam go, they are adorable. They are just like the quintessential, like, perfect, adorable, easy couple. And that makes me so, so nervous. I am so scared for the two of them and this whole relationship. I don't trust it for a single second. I think what makes me so nervous, one, I have trust issues because of Sarah J. Maas. Just having the first love interest be endgame. I also don't know anything about this series, so I don't know if Adam is supposed to be the end love interest or if Aaron Warner becomes the love interest at some point. I'm happy with Adam. Adam is adorable. This is a cute love story. However, I think it could easily fall into the trope of Adam being like, you are inherently good. You have this good nature about you, and that prohibits Juliet from reaching her full potential. I always think that that is a very dangerous thing for somebody to rely on and fall back on, because that is just such a high pedestal to put somebody on, is to say they're inherently good. And with Warner, that is not something that is placed on Juliet's shoulders. She can fail. She doesn't have to worry about that. She can be the villain. She can do bad things. But she doesn't want to. She has a moral code, so she doesn't want to be with Warner. So it's two very different dynamics that you have going on there. And you have to weigh those two things. And I think that that's very interesting to see that play out, especially given the fact that Adam seems like such a good guy. And then you get to the base, you get to the Omega complex. Everything seems so fucking perfect there. I don't trust it for a second. We got there, and I was like, first off, when did this turn into an X-Men novel? I was so confused. I didn't know that that's where this book was going. I was so absolutely confused. But then again, like I said, I had no preconceived notions of this book. Had no idea what I was getting myself into. But then the only thing that I could think of and picture was District 13. As they're talking, I was like, this is District 13. That's where they are. They're in District 13. Maybe that's because Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes just came out, and that's just on my mind. But that's where they are in my head. Is they're in the underground bunker. But still, X-Men. Like, they've all got these superpowers. It's super, super strange to me. And Castle, again, back to the Hunger Games reference, is the woman who's leading the rebellion in District 13. can't remember her name, but the one who ends up dying that Katniss kills. Those are the parallels that I'm making in my head. So I don't trust Castle whatsoever. And I just am very curious to see where these dynamics go and how Juliet's powers are going to play out, and if Adam is going to be a hindrance to her eventual development, and if Warner is going to eventually come in and help her reach her full potential, and if she's going to kind of cross that line of maybe I'll be a little bit bad. And then also what is actually going on with like the overall government. What's the actual state of the world? I think that's really an interesting question to pose and think about. And then one of the other things, just as a general commentary about the writing of this book, because I think that was one of the things that caught my attention immediately, was how different this book was written. You could tell that that's what the author was trying to do. The author was trying to capture Juliet's mindset and portray how she thought she was crazy. And she did that. They did that through the prose. And I've never really read a book that was written like this. You know, in this kind of poetic, almost, word choice and like broken up stanzas and sentences that were repetitive and with words and sentences crossed out and that were similar to her journal. And I personally thought it was a very interesting way to write the book and interesting to read. And it made you think. However, it was driving me mad that the numbers were written on the page. Like 3 was actually 3 and not written out. I don't know if it's symbolic because Juliet has a thing with numbers, but I know that you're, as like a rule, supposed to like spell out numbers. It drove me crazy throughout the entire book that the numbers were not typed out. So, overall, this book was a 3 out of 5 stars probably. It's different than what I normally read. So, I had to kind of shift my mindset, especially considering I had different expectations and was looking for something else going into it. But I think still 3 out of 5 is probably what I would rate this book right now. Like I said, I'm reading Destroy Me right now, and I'll probably continue the rest of the series just to see what happens to the rest of these characters. So stay tuned and see what I think about the rest of the series.